Hello guys, this is Doran's Movies, and today I'll be talking about the siege of Undercity and the overall conflict, discussing some potential reasons for the war as well as previous history between the two factions. This video is a translated, heavily modified version of the same video from a Russian YouTuber by the name of Lekorok, and the original is in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. The start of this conflict leads all the way back to the First War, when the humans initially encountered the orcs. Since then, many factions were changed and formed and modified while being at war with each other, only leading up to the creation of the Alliance and Horde many years later. Even though still hostile, the first event that bound them together was the invasion of the Burning Legion and the attempt of Archimonde to destroy the World Tree. For the first time ever, the two factions put their differences aside and fought toward a joint goal of saving Azeroth. However, as great as this was, most people were aware that it just wouldn't last. The previous wars caused a lot of mutual hatred, and no amount of politics or diplomacy would settle it. Before Cataclysm, there was conflict between the factions, but Jaina and Troll kept it under control more or less. However, when Garrosh took over, the relations would go from lukewarm to straight out hostile. Garrosh Hellscream cared little for politics and even less for diplomacy, and instead just wanted to establish dominion over Azeroth. This led to wars in Stone Talon, Darkshore, Dustfallow Marsh, Ashenvale, and many other places. Garrosh's politics even ignited the hostilities between the Forsaken and the humans that were never ever in a good place to begin with, so control was taken over Hillsbend Foothills, Silverpine Forest, and even the destruction of Gilneas was caused, which led to the Worgen joining the Alliance. After a while, it was obvious to most people that Garrosh was just bent on the destruction of the Alliance, but that was only the beginning. When Hellscream bombed Terramore, absorbed the heart of Yasharaj, exiled the Trolls and the Tauren, and started a rebellion, action would have to be taken. The Horde was split into two, and together with the help of the Alliance, Orgrimmar was besieged and Garrosh ultimately defeated. Seemingly, this solved the issue with the Horde, and now the two factions were in good relations, but from the end of the siege of Orgrimmar, it was very obvious that there was a lot of resentment. Jaina, who was the diplomat for years, could no longer seek herself allied with the Horde after what happened to her city, while Jen Greymane lost his son in the battle for Gilneas. On the other side, Sylvanas was not satisfied with her position, and she was from the start only really loosely allied with the Horde. Now, in the new expansion, the two factions seemed to have allied, as it was the logical thing to do because the Burning Legion was bent on destroying Azeroth and it would be a complete disaster if they succeeded. But from the start, it was just going terrible. Miscommunications on the Broken Shore led to the Alliance believing that they were abandoned, which led to the death of their king. Further conflict then occurred between Jen Greymane and Sylvanas, which only made things worse. So overall, there was a lot of bad blood that has been building up for years, and even though technically the factions were allied, it was not going well. Now, most recently in Silithus, the Sword of Sargeras led to the discovery of Azerite, the life essence of Azeroth. The crystallized blood was found by the goblins, which sparked an interest in the Alliance to check it out. This leads to further conflict, and since the Burning Legion is defeated and there is no longer a joint goal, there really isn't much holding the Alliance and the Horde together. In Battle for Azeroth, the Horde takes over most of Kalimdor, while Alliance takes over most of the Eastern Kingdoms. We will have to find out the exact reason for this all-out war, but it is already obvious that it isn't going to be just like this one single event that led to it. Instead, this has been a build-up of a million misunderstandings, crimes, previous wars, politics, diplomacy, and all of that stuff. The Alliance and the Horde are at war again, and only time will tell what the outcome will be. Alright, and that is all I have for this video. Do leave your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps out and keeps all the content going. Thanks a lot for taking time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.